everybody, Ryan McCaffrey. Welcome to IGN First for April. It's No Man's Sky again for the second time. The game's too much. We barely scratched the surface last time. I'm with Sean Murray, the programmer and mastermind of the game. Sean, you've been so kind. We're going to lock you here for a month.
I like the term mastermind. So good, right? I can stay. I'm happy to stay.
So one thing that people have wanted to see from No Man's Sky is just more of it in long, continuous chunks to see what it really is. So would you kindly oblige? Could you sit here for the next 20 or 25 minutes and show us some video game?
Yeah, sure. I'd really like to, actually.
Excellent.
I mean, I think when we've shown the game off previously, we've been doing something like we've been on stage at E3 and things like that, and which is cool, but we've had to focus on like giant dinosaurs and things like that. And I would like to show you, I guess, exactly what you're asking for, a little bit of how it plays. Yeah, kind of like an average, 20 minutes with the game on a, I know this sounds bad maybe, but like on an average planet, right?
Right.
So this is like a cold planet.
Yeah,
right.
Bottom left, it looks, a little chilly, 163 below Celsius.
Right. We'll do a Fahrenheit version for you guys, right?
I appreciate it. We Americans appreciate it.
So I guess the thing I wanted to show people maybe is the kinds of things that you do. So that you explore, you fight, you try and survive, and you trade as well in the game.
Because that's really been, I don't want to say necessarily a big criticism of the game so far, but you've shown it in such small chunks that, and people are so excited by the potential, us included, otherwise we wouldn't be here for you with a month again, another month, but people want to know, what do you do in No Man's Sky? So
the one thing most people know is explore, right?
Yes.
And that's the thing about the game. When you land on a planet like this, you're the first person who's ever been here.
Right, because everybody that plays the game is in the same universe, but starts in a random, different place, right?
Right. And so you're exploring in a really real way. So like I've just found this relic, okay? And I'm going to go over and interact with it. And relics are left by like ancient races. Okay.
Interesting.
This one will teach you an alien word, and I'll show you while you want to know one later on. But it also gives you a little bit of like almost interactive fiction, okay? And in that way, I happen to know what the right thing to do there was, because I made the game. And I've chosen to sleep in front of this monolith, and that heals me. So the game and the planets are full of these kind of little mysteries, right? And you work them out, and you begin to learn more about the lore of the game, but also how the systems work and how it works on a particular planet. So for this one, it's got its own set of resources, some of which might be only available on a planet like this, right? On a cold planet far from the sun.
I mean, everything looks totally different. It's the night has turned to day, rather.
Well, and day has turned to night because the planet has actually rotated on its axis, right? That's the thing that's really unique about this game. We don't have just some like matte painting that we're switching out in the background. This is a kind of a real simulation of a planet, right? So like a lot of sandbox games, you'll see that I'm like gathering resources from the planet. Different planets have different resources. So for instance, these crystals have plutonium, and we use, I guess, our own periodic table. It's a mixture of the real world periodic table and also some kind of made up sci-fi like No Man's Sky.
Unobtainium?
Right, exactly like unobtainium, right. But maybe not quite that far, right. Maybe with slightly better names. So a big part of the game is gathering resources, combining them to create products or to build technologies, right. And I'll show you that in a sec.
Awesome.
So another thing, as well as exploring, a big part of what you're trying to do is survive. Right, and so like you
saw a little nippy out there.
So it's an extremely cold planet, and you'll see in the bottom left-hand corner that I'm slowly freezing, right? And I had some protection in my suit, but now that that's worn down, I am starting to take damage, and I need to get in out of the cold. So I need to seek cover in some way. I decided to jump in here into my inventory, and I can have an inventory for my suit, my weapon, and my ship. I'm going to install some tech, right? And that's tech that I've explored and found. on another planet.
Oh, I like the sound of land disruptor.
Right. So I've got some silicon and some sulfur, so I can build this, and then I can now modify the world around me a little bit.
Nice.
And so I found a little cave, yeah. And that wasn't just luck. There is caves, like huge cave networks, pretty much everywhere on this planet. And they go on like for kilometers, right?
And it's way warmer in here.
Right, exactly. So I can stay in here and it's a little bit safer. I can kind of warm up.
Yeah.
And now that I've got this tech, I can actually, you know, create my own shelter. I can find resources that might not have been possible otherwise, or that no one else has found, and kind of find cave networks and things like that. Nice. So I'm just going to hop out. So that's a big part of exploring the world, is knowing where things are. And we normally find that players kind of make almost like a little temporary base on their planet. They learn landmarks around them, where they can get certain things, where caves are, buildings are, kind of certain resources are on the planet.
And I see there's no mini-map in the game.
Right, and that's a big choice for us, that actually you know, when you land on a planet, like I said, no one's been there before. There's no YouTube video that you can look up. There's no like FAQ.
You've made a wiki-proof video game.
Right, exactly. So you have to discover it for yourself. And a big part of it is that you can like scan creatures, for instance.
Yeah.
When you scan them, you can name them. Right now, today, the game is still in testing, so the profanity filter is off. So if you wanted, you could, you know, we could just go and name something extremely profane.
I wouldn't say no if you wanted to do
Okay.
that. I mean,
might have to wipe the servers after you, right?
So, if you're saying everybody starts in a different corner of the edge of the galaxy, does that mean pretty much everybody will get a chance to name at least something?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's actually like a slightly sad but amazing thing that 99.9% of the planets in No Man's Sky, I think, will probably never be visited, right? And so actually coming across somebody else's planet that they've named and they've kind of, you know, found all the creatures on and named is reasonably rare. And it's just quite a nice moment.
Almost literally like actual humans finding extraterrestrial life. Like,
yeah.
It's out there somewhere,
Yeah.
but the odds of finding it aren't so great.
And you can see that this planet is hazardous, not just in terms of kind of it being really cold, but there's also hazardous plants. And you kind of need to learn that about different planets, what things are poisonous, what's toxic, what's not. But also in terms of like predators. So I happen to know, because I've played about on this planet a little bit, if you hang around and it gets to night, it gets a lot colder. But also some predators come out.
Gotcha.
And that's not the same on every planet. Some planets, predators will come out in day. Sometimes they'll be there all along. Sometimes you get planets with nothing but predators on them, and they're extremely kind of dangerous. A big thing we haven't shown off before is what I'm looking at here. So there's buildings. And buildings have interiors, they're procedural, and they all have functions. So down there is
something has been here or is here.
Right. And that's part of the lore of the game. So this is a factory where products are made. This is a base. So you have a landing pad here. You'll see ships sometimes land, like these traders who are going back and forth to the space station. And if they do, you can trade with them. The cool thing about bases like this is sometimes they're occupied.
Nice. Hey, an alien.
So I'm going to save my game. And that's another cool thing that you can do in a base. You kind of have to fight for save points like that.
So you'll just respawn back there if you happen to die out in the wild?
Yeah. And so this guy talks to me in his own language, which I don't know just yet, but I could learn words like I did at the monolith.
Right.
The more I understand of the words that he's using on me and the way he's talking to me, the better I'll be able to interact with him. The better I interact with him, the higher my standing gets with that particular race. And different races have different attributes. So some are scientific, some are kind of combative.
Right.
And depending on how I'm playing, I might want to kind of make an allegiance with one or other, you know. So for instance, I might be a trader, and so I'll favor a trading race, get tech from them, that kind of thing.
Could you just be a space dick to all of them?
A space dick? Yes, you could. I mean, it's not the best idea, because with, you know, maybe that's what we should have called the game. That was our working title.
That's a code name.
Yeah. The problem with being a space dick is that you need, like, aliens to be able to interact with them so that they will sell you new ships, new weapons, and so that you can trade with them.
So you need at least shaky alliances at worst.
Well, it's best. It's best if you do, but it's totally up to you, right? So this is a factory.
Okay.
Factories are protected, and they normally have reinforced doors like this. And so if I want to get what's in there, which is a product recipe,
right,
then I need to break in.
Well, if you had a great standing with that alien you just saw, would he just unlock this for you and let you in?
Well, normally what you would do is you would hack into this. That would be the best way.
Okay.
But yes, you can have a really good standing with the NPCs, and they will just give you product recipes.
Got it. Okay,
right?
cool.
For me, I've got no choice but to try and just blow the door in.
Just brute force it.
Right. Okay. And that's not the best idea, because it gets this sentinel attention.
We've seen these before, the sort of watchers of planets.
And they will pay me attention if I'm effectively upsetting the flow of the planet, upsetting its natural state, right? So for instance, if I was mining those crystals too much, then they would pay me more attention. Or if I was killing a lot of creatures, right, I'm just going to run in.
Oh, so the sentinels got bigger. There are four-legged dog-like sentinels outside now.
Yeah, and they will send bigger and bigger kind of sentinels after me. Eventually, ships, freighters, that kind of thing.
As that wanted level in the upper right corner goes up.
Yeah, so I'm just going to shut down the system, and for that I get a nice little bonus.
Oh, look at you're getting bold out here.
Yeah, well, I've been an idiot, kind of. I've come running out before my wanted level has gone down.
I believe in you. I think you can do it. Or not.
Yeah, that didn't last very long. Okay, so I've died, and I'll restart back at the base, right?
Got it. Okay.
Where I saved my game. So a cool thing here is that we've showed kind of combat, we've showed trading, which is what you would do with those aliens and NPCs, showed exploring, surviving. Those are the kind of things that you do in the game, right? It's a survival game, it's a sandbox game. But above us all the time is space, right? So we've just been playing in this small little area and seen those things, but up there is another planet, space station, traders going about their business, so we want to get out there. There's a landing pad here that I want to use, but it needs a bypass chip, so I'm going to have to build that. So if I go into my UI and try and build a technology, or build a product, I should say, I can try and build this bypass chip. I need some silicon and some more plutonium for that. So if I was fresh to the game, if I was new to it, then I wouldn't know where to get those things. I would have to play and figure it out, right? And start figuring out the rules of this universe, I guess. Or I could
you've
probably...
got your scanner, right?
Yeah, I could scan for these things, and that's helpful. Probably starting off the game, I don't have that scanner, but that's probably one of the first techs that I'd build.
Got it.
I happen to know that you get plutonium from these crystals, which happen to be like pretty much everywhere on kind of cold ice planets like this, right? And that's something that I would probably go online maybe as part of the community and track and find out, and that's what I'm hoping people do. So I now have enough resources. I'm going to pop in here and build this chip.
Nice.
And now I can summon my ship.
Sweet.
And this is a Korvax ship. So just like that guy I was talking to, that will have been bought from one of his race, and they're a scientific race. So this ship is kind of more scientific.
Yeah, I don't see any crazy cannons or lasers on that bad boy.
So this is more for somebody who would be an explorer, right? The cool thing is I can just hop into my ship, and already we've flown over that entire play area, and I can just boost out into space seamlessly.
And you said before there are no loading times in the game, correct?
That's right, yeah. Yeah, everything that you see is being generated. So it's being generated around you live. Now that I've flown away from that planet, everything that we just saw is thrown away. If I fly back down, everything will be regenerated. All those creatures, all the terrain, trees, grass, everything. So now that we're out in space, you kind of get an idea of the scale of the game. There's asteroids there that we can mine more resources from. You can see the planet to the left that we've just come from.
Yep.
And these are some traders going back and forth on trade routes, which I could go and attack, or I could join in and do exactly what they're doing.
Nice.
Taking goods to this space station, which you see out here in space.
Because you could just play the entire game as a trader if you wanted to,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, just like a lot of space games, I could play the entire game just out in space, right? And this is a moon of the planet that we were just on, and it looks like it's got some water and some like islands.
Yeah.
And if we flew down, we'd see that those are, you know, those are real and they're there. You can kind of make out a continent, and some of those islands would be quite huge.
So everybody starts in a different place. So you might start on the some awesome tropical, amazing planet, like planet Hawaii. But then I might start on that cold hellscape back there.
Yeah, and that's a thing that I really like about the game, is that it has that different experience. Everyone who like picks up a pad to play, they will have a different experience right from the off. And if they decide not to play and they never boot up the game, not only will that planet that they're on never be something that they visit, they'll never get that experience, but that planet might never be discovered. So these are some freighters, and they are much, much bigger than me, right? But I'm going to do something a little bit stupid just to show you a little bit more of combat. I'm going to try and attack them. And you saw what my ship was like. It's tiny. Right?
With virtually no armament.
Right, exactly. But we can take some of them on. So I'm going to blow some of their cargo pods. And when I do,
I'm sure they won't mind.
Yeah, they're starting to attack me. I get a wanted level. I'm going to steal some resources, and if I could survive, then this would probably be a pretty good way to play the game.
Yeah.
But I can't just now. But that could be an aim for me, right? To build up my ship enough.
Like a fast, nimble ship that can just swoop in, take out some pods like that.
And then get away before the police start paying me attention.
Nice shooting. That was awesome. Oh, so close.
Well, that freighter was absolutely pummeling me. So I've died, and I've restarted back at that space station. So that was the space station that we saw from the ground, that we saw out in space, and I'm inside that now.
So you didn't respawn back in that pod on the planet.
Exactly, yeah. I'm out here. When you die in space, that's the most likely place that you're going to respawn.
Makes sense.
If you get shot down as you're flying over a planet, then you'll restart on that planet with
cool,
a crash
like a crash
ship.
landing. Nice. That's cool.
And the thing that we haven't really shown off before is that not only do the buildings and stuff have interiors, these space stations do as well. So I'm just going to nip in here to show you something. Yeah, so in here you'll find NPCs sometimes, places where you can trade, you know, traders, that kind of thing. You'll sometimes see ships land, but I'm going to show you the stupidest thing, right? A video game window.
A porthole window?
Yeah, but this is super cool, right? That's the planet that we were just on.
Yep.
And my crosshair in the center of the screen.
Your little dot crosshair?
Yeah, that's a few pixels across. Yep. That's about the size of our entire play area.
Unbelievable. That that's cool. So we could have just spent hours on that, that planet.
Yeah, we barely scratched the surface of it. And you can see other ships coming into land. Potentially, I could try and buy that ship or trade with them, but I'm just going to get into my ship and head back out to space.
All right, sounds good.
And those ships contain, you know, aliens themselves, right? And they belong to certain races, the same as that freighter that I just attacked.
Yeah.
So attacking them kind of affects my ranking with them as well. with that race. They'll be a little bit pissed about that. If you thought they would be annoyed about me attacking their factory, then me trying to take out one of their freighters is really bad. So the cool thing about the game, I've showed you kind of trading, fighting, combat, survival.
Yes, the things we actually do.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But I think, I guess a thing that's really important about the game is a sense of scale. So we were down on that planet to our right just for a short amount of time, but we were playing in a couple of 100 meters squared.
Right.
And we saw all of those things. Now that we're out in space, we're dealing with hundreds of thousands of kilometers squared. Right. And if I press the this button and go out to the galactic map, we're dealing with light years.
Because the overarching goal of the game, the sort of narrative thread, or the thread of what's there, you're trying to gently guide us towards the center of the universe, right? We start at the outer edge and are making our way in.
Yeah, so this is the star that we're at currently.
Yep.
These are the ones round about us that we can reach with our current hyperdrive if we had enough fuel, right? If I deselect it, you can see this path, and that path is my kind of GPS towards the center of the universe. And that's that bright light over there. You can see it trail off because this is a really long way away, right? And remember that every one of these stars is its own solar system with its own set of planets where you can find life, NPCs, buildings, like alien languages, freighters, ships, traders. And I guess, like I was saying, kind of 99.9% of these will never be visited. So it's an incredibly hard game to demo in half an hour.
You're a madman, but I love you for it. I cannot wait to play more of this. We've shackled Sean to this chair. He's going to be here all month showing us all kinds of different new things from No Man's Sky. So be sure to keep it right here on IGN all month long for much more on No Man's Sky.